Arrival in Harare. Pavel had never taken a flight this long before. As the aircraft crossed the Mediterranean and began its descent toward Africa, he felt a strange tightening in his chest, a pressure that was not fear, but the weight of stepping into a story that had started long before he was born. The journal lay open on his lap, its yellow pages glowing faintly under the cabin lights. Each line written in his great-great-great-great-grandfather's uneven script felt like a hand reaching out from the past. He traced the symbol on the pendant again, the carved circle intersected with what looked like 3 sharp lines. Tanya had called it a possible schona marker for crossroads, but Pavel suspected the meaning was far more complicated. The Danubian circle had been following him since Prague, and that alone meant this symbol mattered more than he understood. The plane touched down at Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in the early afternoon. As the doors opened, the first breath of Zimbabwean air hit him, warm, spicy, and teeming with life. A heat far different from European summers. The landscape outside shimmered with a reddish-golden light, and the sky stretched open in a way that made everything feel both vast and intimate. Pavel retrieved his luggage, noticing a man in a dark cap leaning against a pillar. Their eyes met briefly before the man looked away. Pavel's senses sharpened. Was this another Danubian Circle observer? Outside, the city of Harare buzzed with motion. Minibus taxis honking rhythmically, vendors selling fruits piled in perfect pyramids, and the hum of people weaving in every direction. The new environment overwhelmed him, but beneath the house was a rhythm that felt almost familiar, like echoes he had forgotten. He checked in at a small lodge recommended by his Prague professor. After dropping his bags, he opened his laptop to reread the email confirming his meeting with Tanya Rakwa-Moyo, referred to simply as Tanya. A scholar, anthropologist, and uncompromising protector of her culture. The meeting was set for the next morning at a cafe near the University of Zimbabwe. Night fell quickly. Pavel stepped outside to acclimate to the new time zone. He barely walked a block before the hairs on the back of his neck rose. A shadow moved behind him. Someone was following him again. He didn't confront them. Not tonight. Not yet. The next morning, he arrived at the cafe early. The wooden sign above the door read, Miras-Platze, and bright jacaranda flowers had fallen on the pavement in delicate purple sheets. Inside, the scent of roasted coffee and warm bread wrapped around him. He chose a corner table, back against the wall, where he could see both exits. At 9:07, a woman approached the door, confident steps, calm eyes, and lots tied into a bun. She scanned the room, spotted him, and walked over. Pavel Zehnal, she said. Her voice was smooth, steady, but with an undertone of caution. Yes. You must be Tanya Rakwa. You can call me Tanya, she replied, taking the seat opposite him. Let us see what you brought. She wasted no time. No small talk. Pavel liked her already. He placed the journal and pendant on the table. Tanya examined them with careful, almost reverent precision. Her fingers traced the carvings the way a musician handled an ancient instrument. This, she murmured, pointing to the symbol, is not a tourist artifact. You do realize that, yes? I figured. My family never knew its origin. Tanya opened the journal. The schona passages stood out in faded ink. These entries, she whispered, are describing movement, journeys between lands, and warnings. Whoever wrote this, he wasn't used living among me people. He was trusted. That is not a small thing. For a European man in the 1800s? Pavel asked. For anyone, she replied firmly. This symbol, in our old ways, it marks a meeting point of decisions and danger. Pavel leaned forward. Do you know it? She exhaled slowly. I've seen it once before. My brother, Kuvai, found a carving like this on a stone near Hirev. He disappeared 2 days later. Pavel felt a yacht. I am sorry. Tanya closed the journal. Why are you looking for your ancestors' origins? Because I think my family history was erased, Pavel answered. And someone wants it to stay buried. Tanya studied him carefully. You're not Nave. Good. You will need that. Before Pavel could respond, a man at the far end of the cafe lifted a camera and took a photo of them, brazenly, without hiding it. Tanya's eyes hardened. We relieve him. Now. They stepped outside into the harsh midday sun. Tanya led him away from the main street, down a quieter pathway lined with tall trees. The man who photographed us, Pavel began. Not the first time this has happened, Tanya finished. Whoever is following you came prepared. Pavel hesitated. Do you know of a group called the Danubian Circle? Tanya froze mid-step. So you don't know. You've heard of them? My brother mentioned them in his last message, she said quietly. A European group collecting African artifacts, by any means. People who cross their path tend to vanish. Wind rustled through the trees, scattering dry leaves across the ground. We can't talk here, she said. Come. They took a taxi to her office at the university, a modest building filled with maps, archaeological sketches, and stacks of books. Tanya locked the door behind them. Show me the page you said you didn't understand. Pavel flipped to the passage he had struggled with. Tanya read carefully, her brow furrowing. This describes a location near Masvingo, she said. Near the Great Zimbabwe ruins, but not exactly inside the main monument. Something about an ancestral path, and a warning about those who guard the crossroads. Guard? Pavel asked. A metaphor. Maybe. Or maybe not. Some heritage sites are protected by communities with long memories. She moved to her desk, pulling out a regional map. She pointed at an area southwest of Masvingo. My brother was last seen following this trail, she said. The room felt suddenly colder. You think his disappearance is connected? Pavel asked. Everything is connected, Tanya replied. But we're not going to Masvingo alone. You will need someone who knows the roads and the people. A knock suddenly echoed through the door. Tanya stiffened. We didn't tell anyone we were coming here. Pavel's heart pounded. A slip of paper slid under the door. Tanya picked it up. Her face shifted from confusion to fury. What does it say? Pavel asked. She handed it to him. It read. Go home. You are not welcome on this land. The crossroads do not forgive. No signature. Used the symbol of the Danubian Circle stamped in red. We're leaving Harare today, Tanya said. Pack your things. Farai Higova arrived in a dusty Toyota pickup around 6 p.m. He was energetic, talkative, and always looking over his shoulder. You read the checkbook? Farai asked, as Pavel climbed in. Yes. And you're looking for ancestors in Masvingo? Aha. Dangerous business. People see foreigners and assume treasure hunting. Me, I don't chats. But I charge extra if we get chased by anyone with guns. Pavel blinked. Is that common? In Zimbabwe? No. In Tanya's world? Where? Tanya elbowed him. Farai. Focus. Okay, he said, starting the tsar. Seat belts, everyone. First rule of adventure, stay alive. They drove south as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in dramatic reds and ambers. Zimbabwe's landscapes were breathtaking, with distant hills and baobab trees standing like ancient guardians. But beauty could not mask danger. A black SUV appeared behind them. Farai noticed first. We picked up a tail. Tanya cursed softly. Circle agents. Pavel glanced back. The SUV sped up, closing distance. What do we do? He asked. Hold on, Farai said. He turned sharply onto a dirt road, kicking up dust. The SUV followed. The chase rattled Pavel's bones, screeching tires, bouncing over uneven ground, the smell of hot rubber and dust filling the air. Farai swerved between tall scrub bushes. They're not giving up. Aha. I told you this trip is dangerous. A sharp crack echoed, a gunshot. The rear window of the SUV shattered, but the bullet hadn't hit them. They fired a warning shot, Tanya spat. They used scaring us. Pavel's blood turned cold. Used? Better than trying to kill us, she replied grimly. Farai sped toward a narrow ravine. Hold tight. They plunged down a rocky slope, the SUV behind them failing to follow. It skidded, tires screeching, Biffle reversing and speeding away. For a long moment, the only sounds were the ticking engine and Pavel's heavy breathing. Farai finally exhaled. Well, they will come back. But not tonight. Tanya turned to Pavel. Do you still want to go to Masvingo? He met her gaze. Beneath the fear was a steady determination. Yes, he said. Whatever my ancestors left behind, I need to find it. Tanya nodded. Then we keep moving. The sun sank fully behind the hills, leaving the horizon glowing faintly. As they drove deeper into the darkening landscape, Pavel felt the weight of history pulling him forward, toward Masvingo, toward the ruins, toward answers, and danger. The circle was closer than ever. And they would not stop until Pavel turned back, or vanished like those before him.